let's go for the Q&A. So questions for Alard and Christine.
Before you even do that, I want to announce a new sponsorship deal. Her next expedition is going to be sponsored by our sunscreen, and she's going to be protected from the sun.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. That's very nice.
That's a very good one for diving cars.
And she didn't even know that. So.
No. That's very generous. Thank you. Wow, I don't have anything to offer. I'm sorry.
Both of you, I think, were brilliant presentations. Thank you very much. Question for you, Allard. First off, I really like the initiative. I was a little bit disappointed that the Reef Safe sunscreen that I bought last year might have not been such a good idea. Can you tell us a little bit more about the patent that you mentioned?
The what, sorry?
The patent. The patent.
The patent.
Does that mean that no other companies can make actually reef-safe sunscreen?
Theoretically, they can, provided the formulation is not the same as ours. So we're semi-hopeful that the whole sector will grow and become more credible. Clearly, we have the advantage at the moment, but as I mentioned, when Arlindo posed the question, that advantage is not relevant unless people know about it, so that's still our biggest challenge. But yeah, the patent is a composition patent, so it's a formula of existing ingredients. We've already had one infringement, another company that copied our formula and made the same claim, and we went after them, and they had to pay us some money, so that was good. It's a difficult thing, patents, to uphold and to defend. And in fact, a lot of my money, I'm down one small house since I started this company. A lot of my money was spent on defending a patent instead of on marketing. But I felt that unless we had a credible product, I didn't want to be in the market. So, yeah, the patent is a big thing.
Thank you.
That's a good question. There you go.
Well, hello. Thank you both. I have to admit, until this year, I was not aware of how damaging sunscreen lotion could be. So maybe only 3-4 months ago, so I'm really happy to learn more about this. I am also very skeptical about all the products and the greenwashing, trend. But I have one specific question just for my use and that of my family and so on. I always see this difference between waterproof and non-waterproof types. I don't know if it makes a difference, if you also have waterproof and not waterproof, if it makes a difference at all, or that's not really relevant, it's only the content.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and one that for our brand, I've tried to stay away from it, because I'm not a scientist, but I'm a very simple person. And I do know that salinity levels vary, I know that temperatures vary, I know that people's behaviors vary. So there are too many variables that I as a brand have no control over. So I'm not going to make a claim where it's likely to fail for somebody because they're not doing something or they're doing something differently. Therefore, it's a claim I don't want to make. And it also comes back to the composition of the sun filters. So the active ingredients in the sunscreens that protect you from the sun come in different categories and in different qualities. Some of them are soluble in water, and some of them are soluble in oil. So obviously the oil-based ones might stay in your skin a bit longer, and the water-based ones will not. So it depends on the formulation, and it's a claim I don't want to make. What I do know is that having supported a number of round-the-world ocean race teams and kiteboarders who are out on the water for 3.5 hours without replacing their sunscreen and they didn't get burnt, I'm relatively confident that our product works well, but I'm not going to make a water-resistant claim.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, hi. Question for Christine. Christine, as a career scientist who has interacted with and relies a lot on the efforts of citizen scientists like you characterise yourself. It's fabulous and terrific work. What I'm interested in is, where you go from here with this. So you've now found a way of finding krill, maybe quantifying where they are, quantifying them. Where are you heading with this? What's the next step in your work? And who are you collaborating with to make that happen?
Yeah, thank you so much for your interest. So in my opinion, this was a tool to expand on how you can tell stories. I'm not a krill specialist, although I'm very, very passionate about it. I do have an Arctic and Antarctic season where I go and I educate, just like I showed you each year. I leave for mine in December this year. So for me, going forward through education, sharing more of our results is powerful, but I'm also finishing a master's degree in either marine biology or marine ecology, where this will be my own work and my own studies. So it's going hand in hand, but I think that's how we have to go. I wouldn't go back to school if I wasn't obviously lacking. I'm missing pieces, just like our scientists are. But this way, go forward with legitimacy and passion and experience, and hopefully be more inclusive. I believe that sometimes we are just the voice in the echo chamber. I can tell all of you care about conservation. You don't need to hear about this, but there are other people who, this is brand new. Krill isn't okay to be just whimsically buying. That's news to a lot of people. And so I'm hoping to go forward with more publishing in order to, with legitimacy, to get the message out there in unique ways. Thank you for asking.
I'm sorry, but I have one more question for you, Alard. Because you mentioned that there's the patent and the differences there, but who does the certification, the licensing? So what entity?
Yeah, it's a very good question. All the certification authorities, or they're not authorities, they're privately run businesses. So they're in the business of certifying as many products as possible. As far as I know, there are none that actually do any testing. So it's not a peer verification using a protocol. So there aren't any that I look up to or believe in, because they usually certify organic origin, and in this case, as I mentioned earlier, organic is irrelevant, and it's a big subject anyway. I'm not going to get into that. Organic things are, who knows? So in our case, I don't know of any that are credible, and if there were, I would become more suspicious if they started certifying more products. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm relying on the scientific evidence that is in the patent, which was verified by the peers that approved the patent, and then attacked by one of the biggest sunscreen companies in the world from every angle. They tried everything to get that patent wiped out, scientifically, from every potential aspect. So that was, for me, a good enough certification.
I don't know if there's another question. Okay, so we will move forward. Oh, one more.
Hello. Question to Christina. I've noticed you were using half mask and the regulator in the cold water. Have you tried using full face mask? Because for me, it was a game changer in the cold water.
There's a little bit of an echo. Can you repeat?
Yeah. Have you ever tried using a full face mask in the cold water? Because for me, it was a game changer.
Sure. So no, I have not personally used full face in Arctic waters. However, I'm very careful with making sure that everything I do is really, really simple, because in that environment, I have almost no support. And so even the concept of if it starts to flood, now I need to take it off, get the other one back on, I'm hesitant about. I don't always get to work with my own expedition dive partner. I often have a dive buddy that is fairly new to me, and so in an emergency, I'm not sure if they would be comfortable helping me with my full face as well. But I'm totally in. I think it sounds great, And I like the idea of being able to speak as well. I think that's way safer. So I'm looking forward to it in the future. But I've only been in polar waters for maybe 4 years. And so I've been slowly integrating even a tiny tweak, because you only get in 20, 30, maybe 40 dives in a season. It's very limited. And so I don't have as much practice before I keep adding new equipment. Does that make sense? Yeah, but thank you for the tip.
Okay, so thank you very much, Christine. Thank you very much, Alard.